Buy things that pay you cash flow, but never touch the principal. A bond that pays interest, or a stock that pays a dividend, or real estate that has income. Don't touch the honey pot, just let the honey flow over the edges. That's interest, and eat that instead. It's a wonderful outcome. Mom was right.
The best single thing you could have done on March 11th, 1942, when I bought my first stock, was just buy an index fund and never look at a headline, never think about stocks anymore, just like you would do if you bought a farm. You just buy the farm and let the tenant farmer run it for you. And I pointed out that if you'd put $10,000 in an index fund that reinvested dividends, and I paused for a moment to let the audience try and guess how much it would amount to, and it would come to $51 million now.
What we found to be most notable were their allocations to alternatives, their interest in digital assets, and also their focus on operating businesses. So for example, in alternatives, these clients suggested that their average allocation was about 45%. You compare that to a traditional ultra high net worth individual, which is about 20 to 25%. But they are doing much more of a barbell also, so they do have relatively high levels of cash and fixed income. And really on the alternative side, because of the structure of not being wed to outside investors and a fixed mandate, they're allowed to, it enables them to be invested over long terms and take that illiquidity premium, and also take advantage of the wealth creation that's happening in the private markets.
Proud of it too. Like, why would you have equity in your home? That only benefited the banks. You borrowed money from a bank to live in one place that you call home and you're proud of and you like it, as opposed to like, wow, what if I had that equity? What if I had that money, that $80,000 invested in my business? How many have money in retirement accounts? Okay, probably a third of the room had a retirement account of some sort. Why would you have money sitting in an account for when you're 70, 60, whatever the retirement age is, 63, when you could have that money working for you right now?
Again, like whenever I do business, it's not about the money. I heard Jeff Bezos say one time when he was talking, he said he makes his investment based on if it's going to change people's lives. And once I started doing that strategy, I think I probably quadrupled what I'm worth now.
dollar bill, I can hand that directly to somebody else. There was no bank in the middle there. With digital currency and blockchain, it's actually more similar to cash yet again, where I can send something directly to somebody else, and I don't necessarily have to go through middlemen like a bank or a credit card.
Money that I made over the years is holding companies for 7, 8, 9 years and keeping them. I look back, we bought casinos, and you got to buy them when nobody wants them, really. I mean, that's the real secret. You buy things, it sounds very simple, but it's very hard to do. When everybody hates it, you buy them. and then when everybody wants them, you sell it to them.
And I came across the fact that the World Wide Web, was growing at something like 2,300% a year. This is in 1994, and anything growing that fast is, even if its baseline usage today is tiny, it's growing so fast, it's gonna be big. And so I looked at that and I was like, there's gotta be, I should come up with a business idea and that get, on the internet, and then let the internet grow around this, and we can keep working on it. And so I made a list of products that I might sell online, and I started force ranking them. And I picked books because books is super unusual in one respect, which is that there are more book items in the book category than there are items in any other category. There are 3 million different books active and in print around the world at any given time. So the founding idea of Amazon was to build universal selection of books. The biggest bookstores only had 150,000 titles. And so that's what I did. And I hired a small team, and we built the software. I moved to Seattle.
Investing in mutual funds, that can be invested in index funds, that can be invested in ETFs, individual stocks, you name it. My favorite one is index funds, and index funds that track the S&P 500. Through a little bit of research, I know over the last 10 years, the S&P 500 has delivered a 15% return on your money. So I think using a 6% return is pretty conservative, but that's what we're going to use. So we take this $25,000, we invest it in the financial markets for the next 15 years consistently with at least a 6% return on our money. In 15 years, we'll have $585,000 in our brokerage account from consistently investing $25,000 a year for the next 15 years.
I found that it suited my aptitudes to take that money and buy assets and hold those assets. Having a historical bent allowed me to see the market through the prism of history. And so when you see these cycles, and you understand human psychology and fear and greed, the history gives you a great perspective. And so if you own the assets and you don't go into debt, it really becomes a function of time before you become fashionable again. And we made a huge discovery in Bolivia, and that's where the fortune originated.